Yeah. Welcome to Jump into Source Bliss. My name is Malika. I'm a direct source connection teacher. And the intention for holding this summit and all the summits that we do is to create a coherent energy field for all of us to tap into source together, to create a direct relationship to source and to explore all different aspects and dimensions of source. And before I invite my guest today, I always set an intention for the episode. So I invite everybody to close their eyes. I invite my divine team, spirit guides, angels, archangels, higher self, and source to come in this present moment. I invite your divine team, spirit guides, angels, archangels, higher self, and source to come in this present moment. I set an intention of us exploring another aspect of source that we've never explored before in an intergalactic way. And anything else that wants to come through from the divine realms. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, now I'm really excited. I don't know what's going to come through. So I'm so excited to invite my guest, Vandana Atara Aura. And her name was actually given by Amma, who is also a self-realized awakened master. She is an experienced Reiki master, a mindfulness meditator, an angelic channel, an energy healer, an intergalactic channel, a Buddhist practitioner, and way more. The list is endless. You are an intergalactic powerhouse, I would say. Let's say that. So you channel a blend of earth and star energy medicine through your divine team of 5D doctors, etheric light surgeons, and divine feminine physicians, through the sounds of your voice, your healing hands, and the ancient codes of light truth that you receive through the divine mother archetype. So I think this is so cool. I'm just so excited to welcome you to our show. It's such an honor to have you.
Thank you, Malika. It's an honor to be here.
And I just can't wait to start like asking because you have it's like a whole multi-dimensional, spectrum of things that you do, and they're all interrelated. And
yes,
so
everything is.
Yeah, let's just start with like your journey into all of this and how you came to do the work that you're doing now.
Which one, Malika? I've taken many journeys.
Well, let's say the journey into source.
I know, I'm just teasing. Let's jump into pure source bliss, or bliss pure source, or however you want to move the words around in this wordplay game, right, of life. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And thank you for asking. Thank you for your light, your heart, your spirit, and your contribution on the planet. So yeah, my journey, there were multiple journeys. Journey of awakening, probably in this lifetime that I can remember. I would say, I don't think it's just one life event. I believe that I perceive that this is a series of awakenings. So it's not just like, oh, I woke up on March 17th, 1969, and then everything was different. Just like the ascension process, it's a gradual progression and an elevation and an expansion. So we're really expanding. We're not necessarily moving in one direction, but we're expanding into every direction, dimension, and we're also becoming whole again and retrieving the lost or missing soul pieces on the way. But I believe for me, it was really about after my divorce, which was a life-changing event that, in 3D reality, we call or we label as very stressful, one of the major life, stressful life events, right? Moving, death, divorce, one of them, any kind of sudden loss, accident or injury. But I think for me, it was really that, because we were married for such a long time and met very young. But actually, I'm so grateful for the years that we spent together. We produced a beautiful indigo son who's an adult now, but so many life lessons and so much to be grateful for in looking back in retrospect. But that's really when I started to, I guess, walk on my own path of self-realization and really discover or rediscover my true, most authentic identity. And I don't think I really kind of knew myself very well up until that point. I was, came from a pretty dysfunctional home with parents who were, emotionally immature, unavailable, narcissistic, neglectful, just like not really distracted and overwhelmed for the most part. And so I had to kind of figure it out all on my own to learn how to remother and refather myself, reparent myself. I'm still trying to figure it out into this day.
Still doing it.
Yeah, we all are. And I think like pretty much I've discovered along the way that every so-called problem or challenge that we are being faced with repeatedly over and over again, that trigger us, that overwhelm us, that that really dysregulate our nervous system. All of those life events stem from our childhood, and we're going all the way back into the womb and even at the moment of our conception, because we're, our parents and us, we can never be separated, or disconnected. So, we share their cells and DNA, and they still live and inform our bodies. So that's why another big chunk of my work is about ancestral healing as well. The medicine of, trying to retrieve their gifts instead of their burdens and traumas. So we're all interconnected, we're all interbeings, we're interwoven within each other, within the collective. But I think that really going back in time, I was always very sensitive, and which actually serves me now and actually helps me to be a very loving, kind, and compassionate empath, a psychic empath, and one that can feel other people's pain and not only understand, but can relate to it, but have found my way out of it or through it, or haven't allowed myself to stay stuck in that mode of victim or judge or people pleaser or self-saboteur, perfectionist, all of those archetypes. I found the way to move beyond labels and diagnoses and just really just show up and be present for myself, for my inner child, and for others. So I could see, where they might have been dysregulated or, had a lot of big traumas in their lives and their history. But for me, that divorce re-triggered a lot of the old history and, feeling maybe unworthy or not enough. I was always trying to please, my ex-husband and try to do, everything to make him happy, just the same way that I did for my parents to get their attention and so forth. So everything just cycles and spirals around and around and around like a looping system, all these patterns, imprints, and programs that we can't seem to find our way out of, sort of like we're almost drowning in all of that pain, fear, anger, despair, and sorrow, and all of the false identities that we thought were true that never were. So it took some time for me to find myself, my gifts, my purpose, and all that good stuff. And that was the opening door. That was my bridge that I constructed myself, because my higher self, I am presence, soul over soul, my team knew, and even his team knew, that this was the whole purpose of us coming together again and, exploring our karmic relationship and healing it, which I believe was done. And so, that was my beginning. That was the start of my own inner and outer transformation, big time. And, did I Was it easy? No. Did I probably make some mistakes or detours? Yes. Would I do it again? Absolutely. And so that was kind of like the beginning of a rediscovery exploration process. Hey, what am I really here to do? What's my purpose? What did I learn from this relationship? What did I gain? What are my strengths? And what would I truly enjoy doing, that I'm really good at, that I love to do, that I've always wanted to do, that I put aside because I didn't think it was possible all those years up until that point. And I just started doing it. So I took the deep dive.
So there are three questions I already have for you as you're speaking. I'm like, I'm waiting and I'm waiting because I'm so excited. So the first question, because you talked about ancestral healing, you talked about a little bit about the karmic relationship that you had, and I already forgot the first question. Oh my
Inner child?
No, I think I wasn't going to ask about. There was one question. Well, it'll come. It was through my guides. It'll come back. They'll
yes.
But
they'll whisper it.
Yeah, though, let me ask about the ancestral and the karmic piece first while they're thinking about, or they're sending me the other question.
Yeah.
So
it's okay.
When I like, because I also remove ancestral patterns for other people, and I never know this question, but I think I know I probably maybe intuitively know the answer, but I like to ask you because you do it on like a wider spectrum, and you really, you're an expert in that. When you clear the ancestral patterns for someone, or let's say within yourself, your body gets the healing and it changes the codes and everything. Now, do your parents receive that same, like, does it get removed simultaneously in your parents' bodies or in your grandparents, in your direct family lineage, or do they still have to remove it within their own bodies, for themselves?
Well, we have many bodies. So if our parents, grandparents, relations, ancestors are, in their spirit bodies, there is they're on their own soul education or re-education. They're on their own path. They're on their own journey. However, because cellularly and subatomically we share DNA, then we are inherently always, eternally, we're always connected to that biology, to that genealogy. And so there is a shift every time I, connect with my ancestors, but I connect with my first ancient, wise, well healed and resourced ancestor from thousands of years ago, before the trauma patterns began in my family and my lineage. And I call upon this wise old soul who didn't know what happened after to ask for intervention, to take those recent troubled and traumatized ancestors who came from generations of dysfunction and misunderstandings, and that person, that ancestor, that resources all of us, strengthens the link between us, and heals and seals any family rifts, any tears in the unit, in the family unit. So she'll put them in like an inner circle, and then she'll become my ancestral guardian, my medicine woman. It doesn't have to be a woman. It could be male or female, but it's sort of like that genderless being who can assist and overlight all of us, so that I and you and all of us, when we do this ancestral medicine, these rites of passage, when we perform these ceremonies, we don't have to be negatively or adversely affected or tainted or touched in a harmful way by duplicating their addictions, their problems, their anxiety, their whatever their imbalance was that was passed on to us. So this way we're free of that. And then they're being worked on as long as they need to be worked on at the same time. So we have these extra additional layers of protection.
Oh, very interesting. Okay.
And that's just one part of it. It's definitely a process.
Mhm.
I also have an ancestral altar. So I learned how to communicate with the more recent ones that I knew. But when I say good morning and I sing to them and I praise them and I thank them, I start my morning ritual that way. Everything turns around and harmonizes in my own home environment with my own family members.
Mhm.
So I not only speak with them and I ask them for help, guidance, assistance, protection, blessings, whatever it is that only they have that they can pass on to me through our bloodline, through
Mhm.
our mutual connection, that inheritance. But I also call in like these very ancient, forgotten elder ancestors. I call them the nameless ones. But through guided meditations, I was able to find out their names and develop a strong and safe connection with them. And I call upon them first, and whatever gifts, whatever is, whatever special healing abilities they had, or alchemy, magic, whatever was good and right about their lives. So I'll call upon them so they can feel too that they're not forgotten or lost in time in another timeline. It's not like we could ever be separated from them. So why not make peace and set things right, make amends, say ho'oponopono and ask for forgiveness and be willing to trust that whatever wrongs they committed, whatever crimes they violated, however they disempowered your ancestors that were spilled and passed on to you, it's never too late for that soul to change.
Mhm.
And to ask for them and to pray for them that in their next incarnation, reincarnation, that they can gain the wisdom that they didn't have in their lifetimes, that they can be reborn a Buddha or a Bodhisattva,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that you can meet again. And so it's such a beautiful thing. We want to honor them. And, we want to make sure that they get safely to the other shore and they claim their seat with the other ancestors in your family tree. You don't want them to be lost and drowning and swimming in this, sea of suffering. You want them to be okay and be at peace with the ancestors that came before them. So every single ancestor is standing behind the others and in alignment and backing and blessing each other. And when that's aligned or realigned, then we can receive their blessings, not the burdens or the family curses. And we don't have to do the work of clearing repeatedly over and over and over again, because that's just exhausting. Because you don't want to clear out the good, like the positive cords, because there are, positive and negative corded attachments. So you want to really cherish the bonds and the good things about them. The skills that were passed on in your family line. You don't want to forget about them. You want to honor them and transmit those gifts and blessings to your descendants, to your children, born and unborn grandchildren, and so forth. So it's such an important thing. It all interconnects so gracefully and intelligently, doesn't it?
It does. And so the next question about karma, because you probably can give us a deeper perspective on this. Karma is like a wide spectrum, right? It's not like black and white, in my experience. There are karmic contracts, of course, and I feel like they're in varying degrees. Sometimes it's not a contract. When I clear something and that's karmic, sometimes it's not a contract, but it's like partly karmic. I don't know how that makes sense, but that's what, when I work with Archangel Michael, it's like, this is 33% karmic. And I'm like, wow, that's so exact.
Karma is action. It's not good or bad. It's not positive or negative. And like you said, it's not black or white, because that's magical thinking. And that's a cognitive dissonant thought form program. It's not resonant. It's dissonant, which means it creates a lot of inner turmoil, confusion, and conflict between the head and the heart space. So we're kind of tired of doing all of the work of clearing, cleansing, purifying. So we want to just maybe kind of bypass all of those old programs that we were taught. So yeah, there are karmic relationships, there are karmic contracts, and that means that whatever action was taken in another galaxy, like alternate, parallel, past, future, is affecting us and influencing us now based on a thought, word, deed, or action. And so before the action was first the thought, and then the spoken word or the belief, and then the feeling or the emotion, and then the behavior or the actual action step. So instead of unraveling it all back to that relationships like original creation, we can just say, okay, it was based on an action that was taken, and we don't have to take it on. When we have that, when we cultivate that awareness with loving kindness, and we don't overthink it or overanalyze it, or feel that we're a victim, or that because these actions were taken, good, bad, right, or wrong, that we have no way to escape them. And when we inadvertently, we want to help ourselves and others by saying we're going to clear it, but then we might wind up clearing important lessons, important soul lessons that are also part of the karmic plan, the soul plan. And so I think that is kind of like a surgeon, right? Going into a patient, you want to really think first, like you want to really feel into the whole dimension of the person you're working with. You don't want to just rush in and yank out cords, because first of all, you don't want to cut them because they'll probably grow back. If the painful thought that created the suffering and that wrong action or wrong speech, if that wasn't cleared. So you might wind up doing more harm than good sometimes. So I think we really have to be delicate and respectful and honor the light and the shadow, and not judge the karma or make it or fight it or battle it or force it away, because there's value in everything. And that's a Buddhist philosophy. That's a Buddhist, not a philosophy, but it's kind of like in the Lotus Sutra, it's like everything has value. Even the things that we think are that we judge as being the most horrific and tragic, we can see that there's a value. We can see, if we look at it from, half full instead of half empty. Well, what did I learn about myself through this so-called karmic relationship? What strengths have I gained? What courage, what resilience, what have I learned that I now know that I never have to repeat again with someone else. So karma is cyclic, right? So it keeps running around in a circle, and it feels like we have no escape, but karma is just action. That's all it is. And I think the word is overblown and misused in this realm.
That's why I asked you, and so you just kept it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah. And for a long time, I was taught the same thing years ago. Oh, we need to, clear out and extract and remove, cut those cords. But you don't want to cut all the cords. And if you say, oh, I'm going to cut the cords for this person, you might cut cords that person that were very helpful to that person, meaning healthy, strong, and positive, loving cords from past relationships in this lifetime or in other lifetimes. So you don't want to go into something blindly. You want to, yes, trust your intuition, but you want to just be mindful about it. And yeah, that's all. I guess that's pretty much my answer to what karma is. And also with a karmic relationship or a contract, although you might recognize it and feel that this familiarity, that, oh yeah, I've been with this person before, because as soon as I met them, I had strong gut feelings, right? Where they just seemed like so familiar, and that could be positive or negative. You just get that immediate like instinct, like your body is trying to tell you, your body remembers. Your body still holds that memory in its muscles and its cells. So even though you might wind up reuniting with karmic loved ones, partners, friends, lovers, colleagues, whatever, family members, once you become instantly aware and mindful and conscious, and you wake up, and you ask these questions that will really be helpful, instead of assuming that you know everything and you're just gonna cut all the cords and that's called spiritual bypassing, escaping. I'm just gonna cut them and then I'll be free. It doesn't quite work that way, because like I said, there are positive cords and negative cords. But when you meet that person and you understand that deja vu, they feel so familiar, right? And you feel instantly comfortable with them, but you know that there's something toxic and that they're not able to give you the love that you deserve, or vice versa. It doesn't mean you have to stay with them and relive that dysfunctional relationship or that codependent relationship for another 20 years or a lifetime. You can say, recognize you, I'm good. Like, we can just be friendly, and I wish you the best. Bless you. Have a good life. But you don't have to repeat any of those old toxic, unresolved issues that are still lodged and buried in your tissues, right? And that might not be the easiest thing, but it can be life-saving, potentially. So, yeah.
So I'm going to ask the source questions now. What is source to you?
Oh, that's another long hour conversation. I think that source is really all that is. It's really creation. It's the heart of creation. It is where we come from and where we will wind up going. It's home. And it's the divine universe. It's the presence of intelligence, and it's where we can always connect to, wherever we are on the planet. Source contains all the solutions to our earthly problems, our unanswered questions. We can always teleport or travel telepathically, soul travel, to the heart of source, where we can just find all the answers. And like I said, things that are not available where we are right now. So source is also, you can call it God, goddess, creator, creatrix, but it's also within ourselves. So We can never be detached from source or separate or disconnected from source, but it might feel that way. But just because it may feel that way doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean that feeling is true. And that's another belief system. That's a program. But source is where we come from and where we will end up returning to.
And how do you connect to source?
Everyone connects to source differently. I connect to source just by being still and breathing and asking for intervention. What I do is I just sit on my cushion and I breathe and I invite and I allow myself to be the invitation for source intervention. The source is connected to everything. So when I feel ungrounded, unsafe, or off balance, or just like cut off from source, spirit, the universe, the multiverse, then I just sit and I allow myself to open all of my chakras, open my divine mind, my Buddha brain. I open my lotus petaled heart. I just breathe into all of those places that feel closed off to the presence of source, or any thoughts that I've decided that I'm not good enough to connect with source or to receive that guidance and assistance from the higher realms or from the inner realms. And then I just breathe into my hara, my power line, my dantian, which is the center of my feelings and emotions and all of my life's experiences and relationships. And I just allow source to move through me. And I envision or imagine that source is a certain color. I usually like to think of it or imagine that it's either pure white, like a mist, or smoke, or a light, or it can be just liquid light, just moving through the top of me, entering me, and radiating, spreading all the way through me. And with its own intelligence, it can reach those hidden secret places that really need the most nourishment, spiritual nourishment, and nurturing, and kindness and compassion, the parts that feel empty, numb, or frozen. So I can fully rest, digest, and just drink in that life force energy. So source is also life force energy, just like Reiki, or chi, ki, prana. It's everything, and it contains everything that we seem to think is missing. So whenever I feel like something is missing, or some form of like veils of confusion, I just allow that light, that intelligence to move through me. And I just have to sit and be still and silent. And it sometimes happens where I'll receive these revelations, this light bulb, right? Like this aha moment, like, oh, okay. Where I'll just sit in front of my altar, my ancestral altar, my Buddhist altar, and I'll just ask, like, please, and I'll just say, thank you for helping me to figure this one out so I don't have to do the work. I give you all the details. I give you all the worries, the source of my stress and distress. And I ask you to handle it for me, because it's just too much for me to continuously handle, resolve, and deal with alone, because we're never alone, right? And then as I'm sitting, with my mind and body touching each other, reconnecting in this sort of namaste, or this Anjali mudra, right? My mind, my body reconnected, reunited. I just give it up to source and I say, please do what you need to do. And then I'll come back for your guidance later. all of a sudden these ideas, boom, 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 just like show up. I never thought about that before. Oh, that's the answer.
Mhm.
I mean, I did that literally, and then I'll get physical, actual proof and confirmation. Sometimes right after I
Mhm.
connect and communicate with source, sometimes the next day or a week later, depending on my own resistance and judgment. And there was one moment where I couldn't find my ID card. I was really worried about it. And so I just sat on my cushion and I called in all my guides, deities, guardians, angels, archangels, my divine doctors and doulas and devas and dakinis and all of the blessed beings from earth and stars above me and below me. Call them all in, right? Gathering them into my field, into my circle, into my pod of light, my light vehicle. And then right after that, I'm just sitting, not speaking, not in conversation with anyone, just sitting and breathing, listening to my breathing, letting my breath be my healing anchor. And then they showed me on this sort of holographic screen where the ID card was. And it was in my own home, but I had forgotten where I placed it. So as soon as I got the answer, my body said, yes, that's where it is. That's it. There's a thank you, source, right? And I opened the drawer and it was right there.
Wow.
If
Yeah.
I hadn't taken the time, and it didn't take very long to do that, I probably would still be scratching my head if I was reliant just on my head alone to figure things out.
Mhm.
But that doesn't work very well. We have to have the head, heart, hara connection.
Mhm. Yeah, and this talk about the horror. This is like for me, it's like the line of intentionality. You know, it's,
Yes. And they say there's a hara dimension
Mhm.
where everything aligns for us,
Mhm.
and we can just align our spine. We can just imagine and envision that it's already happening. And that's where our lifeline is, our power line. And that's where, and if we don't have that alignment above and below us, then things really feel difficult
Yeah.
and they feel kind of wobbly and confusing. We don't have that clarity. So hara is very important. Most people, again, don't know about it too much. And I found that to be the most empowering course that I've actually taught in a long time. But basically, the hara is a Japanese word for the dantian. The dantian, when we breathe into the hara or the dantian in our lower belly, in our beneath, like 2.5 inches finger widths below our navel, and we hold with our healing hands, we hold that area and allow our belly to expand. That's when we have that freedom, and that's when we're furthest away from our mind, which is where we want to be, because that's where all the insights and solutions can be found, in that treasure chest, in that power. That's where all our power is. And so this is pretty cool to know about, and
Yeah.
it can be potentially life-changing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And how do you implement source bliss in your daily life?
by being in nature and allowing my feet to kiss the earth, the soles of my feet to touch the ground, to ground myself in nature and to feel more alive, to slow down my mind and to connect with the elements.
Mhm.
Connect with all the elements of nature, because we're made of earth, matter, minerals, carbon, but we're also made of stars and golden stardust. So the problem is that when we're on our computers all day long, we forget that we even have a body. And it's really hard to function or to manifest the things that we dream of or desire if we're just walking around like a talking head. We're not embodied. Our soul cannot be embodied. So when I realize that I am spinning my wheels and getting nowhere fast, and I am feeling heavy or offline, and it's hard for me to accomplish anything, I literally turn off my laptop and I just take a walk outside. I'm lucky that I live near a body of water, near the ocean, the beach, boardwalk. But even if I didn't, I would just find a tree to, to hug or to hold onto. Whatever would make me feel closer to the earth and all of Gaia's blessings. And even walking, slow, slow breathing. It's Thich Nhat Hanh calls it walking meditation. Just being mindful. That's where all the peace can be found. And that's what can change everything. So that's what I do. When I come back, it feels like everything in my energetic field, in my emotional bodies, my physical bodies, all the layers of my bodies have shifted and have expanded, relaxed, and softened. And so that's what I do in my downtime. Yeah. Whenever I feel that I am not fully embodied. We need our mind and our body to function as a team, as co-creators in this universe. And when you remove yourself from the source of confusion or overthinking or overwhelm, stress, fear, anxiety, worry, past regret, future anxiety, we can be present. And that's where all the blessings are, in every here and now moment. I'm not the first to speak about mindfulness. And it's a very important practice.
Gateway into source, mindfulness.
It's the gateway, it's the bridge into source to connect, communicate, commune, collaborate, and co-create with. And and these are so important for us to become aware of, so that we don't take on all the burdens of the collective, and we don't go to war within ourselves and others. And that's when we can experience what is called joy, that we have a right to. It's our birthright. And peace and a greater understanding that's beyond this human form. And that's when we can be that example for others and hold that compassionate space for our inner child, embracing our feelings instead of running away from them, but also learning how to suffer well or to suffer less. So that in itself means that we're not running or hiding or suppressing or stuffing or numbing our feelings. We're honoring and listening. We're listening to all the feelings and we're releasing them. We're allowing them to come to the surface so we can hug and hold those feelings. And if we didn't have that kind of parenting, which a lot of us haven't, we can give that gift to ourselves. And it's not as hard or difficult or complicated as people think it might be. It actually takes a lot more energy. It's a lot more draining and depleting to constantly run away from home, the home of our feelings, the home of our body, the house of our heart, the den of peace, which is our three lower chakras. So just staying present to all that is, breathing through it, staying with it until it passes through us. But definitely having soul support, having wise and spiritual, reliable friends or family members or soul family that feel more like your actual family than your biological family does. That's important too, not to grieve alone, not to feel like Superman or Superwoman, like I'm just going to do this all on my own.
How do all the elements, because you talked about the elements kind of coming together, whether it's the carbon or the, you know, the star. So how do they all kind of come together to make, I guess, us who we are?
Well, there is a school of thought that says that we are all connected to the star system, star clusters known as Pleiades.
Mhm.
Some say they're from Sirius or Arcturus or Andromeda or Lyra. But there are very ancient indigenous shamans, women who come from Peru, from Machu Picchu, from Lake Titicaca, from the mountains, rivers, the lakes, spirits of nature. And these are called Nusta goddesses or earth goddesses. And they all know from the beginning of time, they all gazed at the stars. They all knew where they came from, what their star seed origins were, what their heritage was. And so if we look into Palladian, Lemurian cosmology, we know that there is our Palladian mother, there are the 7 star sisters. And according to the storyline is that these divine feminine energies came down and kind of mixed with human men, and then gave birth to the first divine humans. Before that, there were 6 other human species, and each one of them eventually died out because of the climate, the harsh climate changes and so forth. And this Palladian mother, our star mother, breathed in this, the energy of spirit, the life force of spirit. So we became spiritual divine humans. Also, the earth became spiritual earth to make it easier for us to connect with her. And so, we come from the stars. We're composed of star matter, stardust, but we're also made of the earth. So we are the perfect hybrid. We are divine humans. Both matter. Because we're in this body, we have to spend quality time communing with nature and being fed with her, all of the vitamins and nutrients, the plants, the minerals, the rocks, the crystals, because we're also crystalline. So we're composed of both earth and star matter. So it's important to connect with both, with our families from earth and stars, and that we can become that bridge, that channel, that divine instrument to receive information, solutions, new downloads or upgrades or resets from above and below us, right? So that we keep the energy flowing and opening and expanding through us. So nothing gets stuck inside of us or attached to us, right? That we can't handle. So we're like this hollow bone.
That's a beautiful explanation. So have you had, or you've had many probably, but do any experiences come to mind with the intergalactics, especially in relation to source or anything around that?
My own experiences?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Many. I've had pain. I had kidney stones and several times in my life. And it was excruciating pain even after the surgery. And what I would do is oftentimes just wake up in the middle of the night and I would call in. There are 3 doctors, divine doctors, spirit surgeons, and star shamans. They are Dr. Lorfan, Dr. Khan, and Dr. Fritz, and they're all on my website. So Dr. Lorfan is from Arcturus and Sirius, star Sirius, Sirius B. And then when there was war and the planet was sort of dividing between A and B, he fled. This is what I've been told, and moved to Shambhala, moved to what's called the Great White Lodge and opened his own healing hospital, healing center, healing facility, sanctuary. And so I would first call upon him. And then Dr. Fritz and Dr. Khan were actual living physical being. Well, they're not now, they're in spirit, but they had human lifetimes. And they were actually surgeons from other countries and cultures and traditions. And there are certain healers, I don't know of too many, that channel in Dr. Fritz and Dr. Khan. And they do what's called psychic surgery. You might have heard of many etheric types of surgery centers in the Philippines, in Brazil, and the Amazon, where there are actual physical, healers, light doctors that physically go in and remove things that shouldn't be there. We all know about John of God, which is a very common example of what can happen with these channelings. But instead of having to travel to the other end of the planet, or do it in the physical, it can be performed in the etheric realms. And that's what I do. I call them all in. And so what I did on a series of nights when it was really painful and unbearable, I called them in and I said, please do whatever form of resets to soften, dissolve, and lessen the pain and the source of the pain and the root of the pain and any emotional causes and conditions that have created these painful symptoms, and to regulate my nervous system too, so I can handle it and I can become even more resilient and stronger, where I could tolerate it. And little by little, I would feel them. I feel their golden healing hands just smoothing down my meridians, combing them, brushing them, just feeling that loosening and ease of tension.
That's wonderful.
And when I woke up in the morning, gone. Yeah. And that's miraculous to me. But that's why if we want to experience miracles, we have to visit other dimensions where this medicine exists. Because if we stay here, we'll just keep replaying the source or the root of the original trauma, because the answers aren't here. Just like most of the medicine that can cure all forms of diseases, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, are also not in the same dimension that created it.
Right.
We want to go to a different dimension. And that's when the soul traveling, soul contracts, connecting with source, as you said before. And these particular light beings, and everyone has a different team, but these are soul doctors that are always available 24/7, that you can work with and you can become a part of, and you can tell them where it hurts and give it all to them and let them do the work for you.
So we do handle all the details to make the audience kind of connect with the soul doc, because we get a lot of questions around healing and pain and what to do.
So where do you have pain or tension right now in your body?
I don't have pain. That's actually
what part? So if you scan yourself now, so rubbing your hands together, I say like to warm them up, heat them up, and make like a mini fire, where you feel the palms of your hands, your healing hands are tingling, and just kind of pass them over Your whole body, front,
It's
back.
my shoulders. My
There you
shoulders.
go. Yeah,
It's
me
like,
too. So we can work on with you as a surrogate. We can ask for Dr. Lorfan, breathing in that blue light that's cast upon you, that's beaming now from the central sun, from Star Sirius, from the Great White Lodge, right in the center of this blue central sun. So breathing that light, that blue sapphire or diamond light into your shoulders, your shoulder blades, and asking Dr. Lorfan to come in and to bring in the etheric light acupuncturist to perform etheric light surgery, acupuncture, acupressure, and just allow these divine light crystal instruments, this light technology, the circuitry, the geometries to come in where you're right in the center of this beautiful multidimensional sphere, this light sphere or this Merkaba. And allow Dr. Fritz and Dr. Khan to come in, and you might just feel breathing into the top and the bottom, the left and the right shoulders, the sides of your neck. Go ahead and place your hands on the sides of your neck with your fingers in front and back of your ears, and ask him to just come in and drop in and regulate and calm and reset your vagus nerve, your entire nervous system, breathing slowly, feeling that light passing through you, radiating, sparkling, and diffusing any pain. Begin to start raising and dropping your shoulders 3 times. And as you do, any kind of heaviness, stiffness, tightness is diffusing. And now go ahead and take your hands and brush off any earth dust, any debris, any heaviness, or any feeling of burden, responsibility, obligation, and just massaging the shoulders. But imagine that blue light is seeping through any knots, any karmic knots, any entanglements, any stiffness, and feel that blue light with Dr. Lorfan rubbing your shoulders, massaging your neck, front and back, right? And brushing you off, dusting you off, and sweeping out any darkness, density, tension. See if you can breathe in that calm and blue, tranquil, turquoise, merman color, that aqua, marine, or maybe the ancient Egyptian lapis lazuli, and maybe the philosopher's stones, and feel them touching your shoulders, lining up, you becoming that crystal grid. So resetting, realigning, recalibrating. Breathing in, holding the breath, breathing in those divine light instruments, that peace, that advanced, intelligent light technology. And Dr. Lorfan's now asking the members of his team, his divine assistance, and maybe even the celestial chiropractic team, to adjust your spine, to stretch your neck, to soften your shoulders, your arms, your hands, to shake out any remaining tension with this medicine. And the spinning wheels and fans are rotating, radiating, and blowing away any remaining debris that sit on top of your shoulders that make you stiff and tense. So breathing into the pores of your skin, top of your head, your muscles, your bones, your skeletal system, the front and back of you. And now allowing these waves and waterfalls of Arcturian, Sirian, Palladian, Lemurian light to pass through you, to move blocks of heavy, stuck, sticky, tar-like energy, diffusing with a liquid light. This liquid light with Palladian, Arcturian, Sirian symbols moving through you, radiating, circulating, recalibrating, strengthening, but softening, stretching any tight, tense knots or coils or imprints, implants, or anything that is energy that doesn't move, that's frozen in time. Allow that to unwind as you breathe again through your shoulders, releasing any pent up stress, anger, fear, worry, burdens, troubles, all of that dissolving and giving it to Dr. Lorfan, Dr. Fritz, Dr. Khan, and also to your star mother and earth mother who overlights you and supports you. Releasing, letting go, unwinding, unraveling, shrinking, dematerializing that tension, stretching, opening your heart's power wings, expanding your light, shining your own light until your whole body becomes a blue sphere of light, calming light, peaceful light, a beacon of light. And when this is done, shaking out any remaining tension and breathing out so much longer than you've just breathed in. So breathing in that blue light through the tips of your nostrils to energize you, to recalibrate you, holding that breath and breathing out through the back of your throat. Longer to calm and reset your nervous system, to rest, digest, process, and integrate all the parts and pieces of you that flew away. And let's ask your team and my team, your higher self, I am presence, mine, your soul, your oversoul, and mine, and everyone that's listening and participating and contributing to this divine intervention. Let's ask for the highest resolution so you don't have to hold that heaviness in your body, in your muscles, your bones, your blood, your nervous system, your tendons, your joints. Just feel newborn, bowing and thanking your team for this unexpected physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual divine intervention process, this soul surgery. and allowing them to hold your shoulders now, left and right, back of the heart, front of the heart, holding a space for you, bringing you back in, landing safely, balancing, rebalancing the left and right, feminine, masculine, yin, yang, and now gently letting go and allowing you to feel safe and well, comfortable, strong, and powerful in your own body vessel. And then just taking a moment to come back, brushing yourself off, arms, shaking out. Thank you.
Oh my God, this was a gift. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you. Oh my, this was a total complete reset. And you're right. Like, I understand what you mean when it's like completely gone. It's like, whoosh.
That's awesome. I'm
His
happy
name was
to-
Dr. Lord Fan.
Yes, and when you visit my website, vandanalighealing.com, you'll see under the category of galactic healing, you'll see all of the programs that I've created that are all available on the replay. And each time you press play and listen and download them, you can keep these forever and play them as often as you desire to. You'll receive another psychic surgery, another unwinding or reprocessing. So you can listen as often as you'd like, and you can find the divine doctors all there on the website. So that's what I love about it, because they work continuously in other realms, even while you're sleeping.
That's me. I
dream
love these
time.
intergalactic doctors.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful
We need
because
them to have babies to make more.
that is true, but it's not even necessary for them to multiply, because
Oh, right, because they're everywhere.
you just have to know how to find them and how to make contact with them, and anybody can do it. Just call their names and woof, they show up.
Wow,
But
that's
you know,
beautiful.
3D doctors are limited, and these doctors, surgeons and shamans can do it all. They have all the techniques, technology, advanced operating systems, cures, remedies, antidotes, and solutions that are still not available here. And they also, what's really cool is they oversee and they overlight our traditional 3D doctors and surgeons.
And
So if you're having surgery,
they'll
they come from different dimensions, whatever medicine is needed.
Okay.
But most of it's 6, 9, and 12. Those are the dimensions that they tell me that they're mostly from. But they travel back and forth because they have wings too, right? They're angelic. So they travel back and forth between dimensions to find the right dosage, the right prescription, the right medication. But thank you for calling them in, because we haven't really played with them for quite a little while. So they're very grateful, and they say thank you.
Yeah, they just told, and they're telling me it's time to go to sleep now because it's nighttime here. So
yes, absolutely.
They're like, we need to work more.
And I should probably take a nap, but I think we wanted to talk about a special offer now. That,
yes, before I go to sleep.
Yes, before you go to sleep.
So we have you first your free gift.
Yes.
I'll let you talk about the free gift first, and then we have a special offer, especially for our audience in the summit, which is the chakra hara alignment.
Yes, the hara chakra dimensional alignment. So what I'm offering everyone is a chance to balance your all of your 7 physical chakras, to cleanse them, balance them, just to become more present and grounded every day. What I've done is I've recorded 7 mini guided journeys, just like you experienced today. And from the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. So all the way up from the bottom up, and all the way down from the top down. So whichever chakra you want to listen to, there's no actual like rigid rules or protocols like, oh, do I start in the root and the Muladhara, and do I go up to the Sahasrara in that order or the other way? What I like to do is guide my clients and students to just listen to a different audio empowerment MP3 every day, depending on the part of you that feels offline, weakened, depleted, or maybe overstimulated. So you have 7 chakras, you have 7 days of the week. You also coincidentally have 7 Palladian star sisters that overlight us. And then we have 7 of the, what's called the Nustana, the Nusta Carpe goddesses from the earth, from the mountains, the spirits, the nature of rivers. And there are 7 of those too. And they're all in the form of Divine Mother. We want to learn how to remother, re-nurture ourselves. So one is called awaken, the other is energize, third is focus, the fourth is create, the fifth is relax, the sixth is release, and the seventh is dream. I like to suggest to use the dream, to listen to the dream meditation or activation to help you to dream better, more lucidly. If you're having trouble sleeping, also the relax. If you're feeling like you're holding on to the weight of the world on your shoulders, like you just experienced before, then you can listen to the MP3, the audio meditation called Relax. If you're having trouble mentally focusing or having some challenges with your memory, you're just feeling kind of hazy or just not sharp, or not able to complete your tasks or your projects, and you want to listen to focus. You need more energy, obviously the energize. And if you feel that you're having some challenges with your own awakening ascension process or creating, manifesting anything, we have 2 tracks for those as well. So altogether, there are 7 MP3s with over 100 minutes of playtime. So you can take a different chakra activation journey every day. So that's my free gift to you.
That's very generous. Thank you so much for offering that to our audience.
You're welcome. And so the other treat that I have prepared at a discount is the Hara Chakra. It's a Hara Chakra alignment program. And this will attune and introduce you to your Hara line, how to flow your energy better, how to become an instant vibrational match to align with health, wealth, abundance, and loving, harmonious relationships. So this is an empowerment program that helps you to unlock any blocks, to align your Hara Chakra, which is, as we spoke about before, is located in your Dantian, your center of feelings, which is also the womb and the second chakra. So you can really strengthen your core, right? So that you can recover faster from stress or sudden accidents, injuries, separation, death, loss, right? So that you have the ground that's strong beneath you to support you. The Hara line is your rock, it's your anchor, it's your center, and it's the most important electrical power line in your body. And what it does, it's also known as your sea of ki. It's your line of energy. So you want to make sure that it's aligned in your head, through your heart, and in your gut, right? It holds your power, potency, and your true identity. So your life is a lot easier. You won't be struggling with as many survival fears, the fight, the flight, the freeze, running or hiding from your true identity. So this kind of really allows that ground floor, the foundation of you, the bottom floor, the den of peace, to really resource you, to really build your confidence, and to give you more courage so that you can get through anything. And so I'm offering you that. This is actually a 4-week course. So we have 8 hours of galactic light etheric acupuncture, like you just experienced, cosmic chakra alignment upgrades. We even have infrared color therapy, an Arcturian abdominal massage if you have GI or digestive issues, laser light surgery to align your head, neck, spine, and your core star with earth and star medicine, and a lot more. There's Reiki, there's a Reiju divine initiation or an empowerment attunement. And then last of all, it's a luminous light bath that I run for you to cleanse, clear, and reset your digestive and emotional nervous system. So everything just flows more easily, smoothly, and freely. And again, when you do this, your ancestors are also receiving the same Hara chakra empowerment medicine.
I think that's wonderful. I could feel the activation of it as you're speaking, of how beautiful it is, how blissful it is.
Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Malika.
So thank you so much for offering that, special offer.
Of course.
Us. And it's at a discounted price. So we're going to put all the information right below this video on the page, and with all the links so that they can just click on it. And so, yes. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and giving us this experience of intergalactic healing today.
Of course. I'm so happy that we were able to overcome these Mercury retrograde interference or obstacles, and we made it happen because with our will and our desires and intention to heal the entire planet and to awaken and heal all sentient beings who are ready for this process.
Yes.